Raise expectations, we home. We love each other, that's the way it goes. You gotta reach up to the sky, gotta reach up to the sky.
Hey, everybody, how are you?
Hello, hello.
What's going on?
There we go. Okay. What up? What up? What up? Happy Saturday.
Happy Saturday.
Happy Saturday afternoon. You hear some great voices going on. Why? Because it is, because we've got some guests out in the field. So we got Tamra. Say hey, T.
Hey, hello. How are you?
I'm good. And we got Dr. Bryant all the way from Chi-Town. Ooh, ooh, say hey.
Hola, hola.
And then we've got our in-house guest with us all the way from Dallas. Ooh, ooh.
Hi.
Okay, hold on just a second, guys. Can you come turn this off for the back seat? Okay, so today's topic is who's the judge. If you've been looking on Facebook, you see we had the hammer. Because sometimes we have judgments. Judgments come from everywhere. They come from you, they come from me. So I need to know who's the judge. All right, so the first thing we have to do is we have to get the definition of who's the judge. And let me tell you, we got somebody here with you right now who's gonna let you know what the definition is. He's gonna break it down. It's Dr. Oscar T. Lewis.
But don't call me a doctor. Just simply call me O.
Okay.
Call me O.
O's gonna break it down. Go ahead.
You know, a lot of times when we hear the word judge, we automatically start thinking about, judging people. But if you actually look at the dictionary as far as what judge means, it simply means to form an opinion about something or somebody or an object or something like that. The other day I was actually just thinking about the fact that sometimes we normally always think when we hear other people judging others or something like that, we automatically think that it's a negative thing. But sometimes judging can be useful, or other times judging can be harmful. It really just sort of depends on the circumstances. So something that I would like to challenge all of you today, to the people in the field, to the people that's listening in, as far as defining what judging is and how can it be useful, and then at the same time, how can it be harmful?
Awesome sauce. So this is the chair that's going to continue to move. Thank you so much.
Okay.
Appreciate your participation. It's time for you to go, sir. Our next special guest is coming over to talk about that very question. How can judgment be useful? So we talked about what that is, but how can judgment be useful? One of our co-hosts and panelists today is going to be our own Desiree Lewis. All right, so the question is, can judgments be useful? And if so, why or why not?
I feel that it can be useful. And the reason I say that is because sometimes in yourself, other people see you, so you don't really know what you're doing. So if somebody gives you judgment, even if it might hurt your feelings or anything like that, you can actually use that for your own benefit. So you can actually make yourself better by what people are saying to you. And it's like critiquing. They're judging you, but it's like if it's somebody like my mother or like my sisters, I know they're not judging me to hurt me. They're judging me to make me better. I feel like that's.
So very good. Thank you so much, ma'am. We're going to have our next panelist. Go ahead and come on over here. Come on over. We're going to get another perspective. But let me give you an explanation. Let me break it down from what she's saying. Criticism, as we're she's going the route of criticism and judgment, it really depends on relationship. Because as you know, somebody can say something to you and it could be your boo, it could be your friend, it could be whatever. And you're like, okay, man, how that kind of hurt. And somebody else say that to you and you be like, excuse you? Wait, what? What makes you think you can say that to me? Somebody can tell you something and sometimes it's flipped. Someone who you don't even know very well, you'll take that from them. But somebody comes to you, it's like, oh, that's what you're gonna say to me? It's really important for us to actually look at the truth behind what is being said and the intent. So relationship is very important when it comes to judgment. So she's saying that, yes, it can be beneficial depending on the relationship. Very good. All right, so we have another special guest. We're going to have a male perspective, a young man perspective from our own DeAndre Taylor. Woo-hoo! So the question is, can judgments be useful? If so, yes or no, and then how?
It could be very useful as a day-by-day case. So my time in the military, you got a lot of people judging you. You see a man walking in uniform, you think, hey, I'm judging him based on how he's looked. I'm gonna hold him to a higher expectation than someone with their pants sagging.
Okay, that's good.
So that's how it can be useful.
Okay, all right, okay, okay. So here's that judgment. That is very, very important for a man in America. If you are male, especially a black man, he's saying that there's a respect that comes with being in the uniform. You know, there's a lot of ladies like, woo, a man in a uniform. If he put on a nice suit or he got on, you know, just the right whatever, it's like all of a sudden he get mad respect. Sorry, maybe that was a little bit ghetto, but he gets he gets a lot of respect than someone who goes around with their pants sagging. So perceptions are very important. Very good. Up top. Love it. Come on over, our next panelist. And I need you to answer the same question. I want you to see how amazing it is to have the same one question. You're coming in too early. you have one question, but so many people can answer it in different ways. I love the fact that we could talk about it from different perspectives. Okay, so the question for you is the same thing. Question is, can judgments be useful? If so, how?
Okay.
This is my everybody. I'm telling you, Zania has been holding it down. She's the one who makes sure that y'all can see me and get on here live and all of that. She's normally behind the scenes. We put her up front today. Go.
Okay. I think judgments can be useful, but then like I wouldn't use the word judgment because that has a negative connotation. So like I would say like constructive criticism. Like if you're judging somebody, that means like you're looking down on them and you're like picking apart like what they're doing. But if it's like constructive criticism per se, then like, hey, you'd be like, hey, maybe that's not the smartest thing to do, or maybe that's not what you should wear. But then like they're not tearing you down, they're like building you up. So like judgment, I say wouldn't be the word I would use in that sense.
Okay.
It's about constructive criticism. That's what you like. Yeah.
Okay. She said constructive criticism. Don't judge me. Please don't judge me. Look, Chris Brown. Hey. All right. I apologize for those of you who didn't know I could get ratchet like that a little bit. Okay. So come on here. Come on. The question is, can judgments be useful? Here goes my youngest, AJ. All right, give it to us.
For me, judgment can be useful. It just depends on if you're living in your truth. For me, most of the time, judgment hurts the most when you know it's true. And you know, when you know you're doing wrong, and let's say you know you lie a lot, and somebody calls you a liar, it hurts. But when you don't know you're doing it, you're like, is that really me? But I feel like if you're living in your truth, it won't hurt as much.
Come through, Ajane. Come through.
Come on through. Look at the way she said, if it's true, you get real defensive.
Right.
No, you didn't. She said, but if it's something that's not true, you kind of take a step back like, wait. All of a sudden, you start to give a little self-reflection and you start wondering, you start asking yourself, does this fit? Is this something that actually really fits me? Or if it does not belong? Very good. I'm talking about, let me tell you how God will bless you with some offspring. Oh, Jesus. Thank you. All right. Come on over here. Come on over. Come on over. Come on over, baby. All right. We have an educator in the house, Miss Lakeisha Renee. All right. I'm going to ask you that question. That's going to be your question. All right. Can judgments be useful? Do you think so? And if Yes or no? How or why not?
To me, judgment can be useful and sometimes it can't be useful.
Okay.
Um, if you are judging me, the way I say it can't be useful because if you're telling me something that is just your opinion and you're not building me up after you give me your opinion, it can be useful because you're just tearing me down. But if it's something where you see something in me and you're like, what the actions that you did or the words that you put, whatever it was that wasn't agreeable in your eyes about me, if it was like something like, okay, that really is not who I see you as. What I see you as is someone who is positive, but at that time you did a negative moment or you did a negative actions or you worked out of your emotions. So, but you say, howsoever though, regardless of what you were going through, I can see a better you, but it's just gonna have to take you working on this. So if you're giving me some words that first at her, at first it gives you that 1-2 punch and it'll knock you out. But they say, howsoever though, I can help you or I can be there for you or how about we try this? Then that could be okay. Well, you know what? I can take that a little bit better than you just putting me down and you telling me the negative. Okay, give me the negative, but give me a positive along with it as well on ways you can help me, on ways you can make it better. Because me being an educator, I can always see the wrong in something, but what can I see right or what can I help pull out of you to be a better you? Because if only thing you do is when you see me is you see negativity, you will never want to hear nothing I have to tell you. So if you can tell me something that at first it'll be like, I know you did that problem wrong, but if you go this way, or if you try it this way, and you give me something to say, oh, okay, well, let me retry it or rethink about it or rejudge or, before I do this, or if I see this emotion coming up before I respond, how can I go about doing something different instead of always, okay, you did this, you did this, you did this, and it's just like, okay, you're horrible, you did bad, you know better than that. But if you give me something that will help me mold me and help make me and a better person, then I can be like, when I see you coming, I don't just see negativity. I can see positivity coming from your negativity that will eventually mold me to be who I should be because you see something in me, but you just might not know how to tell me, but learn how to be positive so you can help mold and help bring me up to be what it is I need to be.
She gave a little dissertation, didn't she? Yes.
She did.
Yes. That's that teacher coming out. She said, well, she wanted to make sure you understand. Here's the thing. You can have flaws. If you see flaws that are in me, those flaws are maybe factual. But I need something that's going to help me with my future. Don't just tear me down. So if you see flaws, okay, that's cool. But don't just tear me down. Okay. That's not what you're here for. Okay, in the Bible, which is one of the best places to go, it says, you're so busy judging me, you don't see that big old speck, the big thing sticking out of your eye. You got to be careful how you talk to it, because that same way that you judge somebody so harshly, girl, because I would never. And then it happens to you. And then you got to eat crow. And I don't know I don't really watch Wendy Williams anymore. I used to for a short bit. But there was one time she said something and she literally ate crow. And that's not what I'm trying to do, figuratively or literally, is have to do that. So watch yourself. As they say, chickadee check yourself before you wreck yourself. Okay, that age is there. Okay. All right, so we get ready to take a look. We're gonna take a little Dr. Tidbit moment, and we're gonna get some tidbits by Dr. Brian. So I'm gonna throw you in there. I know I changed the whole format up because that's just what I do, and y'all know this. You know you got to be ready when you and me. We're gonna take a little tidbit from the doctor herself, Dr. Brian.
All right. Well, I love the fact when Oscar gave his definition of something an opinion you develop about a person, place, or thing, right? Mm-hmm. So now that we know what a judgment is, Why?
You breaking up on us for some reason. It says it is low. Lady Brian, can you hear me? Lady Brian.
I'm here. Can you hear me?
Okay. Your video has gone out and your audio is going in and out, in and out. So we're going to go to Lady T and we're going to see if we can get that together and we're going to come. There we go. Let's try again.
You got me?
There we go. There you are. Let's try again. And
Baby, I promise you, I'm just sitting here. I didn't do a thing. I didn't do a thing.
Right.
But,
again, go.
okay, so you heard nothing I said.
Start over. Go for it.
Okay. I was saying I can really appreciate the way Oscar, as he told us to call him. Okay. I can really appreciate the way he defined judgment, because he said it's basically nothing but an opinion. You form an opinion about a person or a place or thing or what have you. And that is so true. But then we can also understand why it carries such a negative connotation with it. Because when we think somebody is judging us, we tend to think negatively about it. We tend to think that they're only coming up with or picking out or even projecting onto us things that aren't positive or things that aren't favorably looked upon, right? But when we really understand, we judge ourselves, so judgments can be self-imposed, and then others can project judgments onto us. Mm-hmm. I love what R.E.A.C.H said. You tell me the truth about me, and it's not something that's positive, that's kind of hurtful, right? Even if I know I'm jacked up, right? But to hear somebody else tell me I'm jacked up, it just hurts even more. I think sometimes we go through life with this facade like nobody can see our junk. Nothing could be further from the truth.
Right.
You know you got it, and other people know you got it. So at some point, we need to face it so we can fix it, all right?
Face it so you can fix it. I'm sorry, I got excited. Go ahead.
What you don't face, you cannot fix. What you don't confront, you cannot change. So it's time for us to be honest with ourselves. Now, I want to touch on this a little bit, too. It can be useful and it can be harmful. Mm-hmm. The question comes into play, what's your motive? What's your motive? So when I say something to Tamara, am I saying it to build her up? Am I saying it to crush her spirit? Am I saying it to make myself appear to be more than what I am? Am I saying it to help her along on this leg of her journey? Make sure your motive is right. Make sure your heart is right. God is the ultimate judge, and basically his opinion is the one that we need to be most concerned about. But because we live in this time and space called Earth, we interact with other people. So we're going to have situations arise where people have a misperception about us, or they come away with the wrong judgment about us. It's nothing you can do about that. That's going to happen. Your job is to make sure you're not giving them anything to fuel it. If I'm giving you the ammunition to use against me, then that's on me. But if you're coming up with something that's totally false, right, based on whatever your experiences and your exposures have been, based on whatever your idiosyncrasies and your issues are, baby, that is not my concern. As long as the Lord says I'm good with that.
And there's that. Yes! Yes! As they say, bravo! Bravo! Not bravo, but bravo! Okay, I want to touch on some of those stereotypes and some of the things that you're saying about living that. And that is why I'm telling you, the Lord be working with you and he can switch some stuff around, which is why I had Lady T to go after you, because I just felt like that would be a good time for you to give that example, Lady T, about your truth as far as like, what are you dealing with as a single Black female? What are some stereotypes that have been brought onto you? And then what are you doing to dispel that within yourself? Go.
Very good questions. Very good questions. What I'll touch on is a couple of attributes that I've written down, which focuses on basically being loud, aggressive, combative, hateful. The shade is 10 to the 10th power, amongst other women. Well, with that being said, of me mentioning all of those, of me not fitting into that particular stereotype is making sure that my light shines out. So that means not being judgment, not having that judgment, going up to females, hey, how are you doing? Going back to what it used to be, hello, speaking, not the, can I help you? So it's always making sure your inner is revealing of the outer.
Okay.
So you even touched on earlier of saying something nice to Keisha and her receiving it. That's a start. Her smiling. Keisha, you look, girl, you cute today. You are working that. Hey, Keisha. You see how I just did that? You see how I just did that? That's having your light shine on. But something that Dr. L touched on that I wrote down, and she said, face it to fix it. We have to face it. We know that it's there. Even if you ask another young man, and you have two in there, you had O, and then you have that young man that is sitting next to you that's on the panel as well. And if you ask his opinion of what he sees, his generation, and O as Black women who are rising, and we're all about empowering women, but how are we actually empowering without the judgments? Is it constructive criticism? Dr. L touched on it. How are we changing it? So whenever you speak and you see these single Black females, as myself, oh, well, she don't need a man. Oh, she's Superwoman. She can do it all. Let me go back and ask you the question. Why is that? Where does that come from? What if I am a Black woman who is strong, who is goal-driven, who is passionate? Why does that offend you?
Why does that offend you? I love it. Dr. Bryant, okay, I'm sorry. Dr. Lisa, I see the wheels. As they say, they turning. Go.
I like that. She ended with a question. Why does that offend you? And what I want you to know is it doesn't matter what the response is, whether they have a legitimate response, whether they have something that they just pulled out the air, and I want to say another word. I'm so serious. I'm so serious. No reason they come up with is ever going to be good enough. Okay. That's why I alluded to before, you're going to have situations where folks are going to pass judgment on you based on their own issues, their own idiosyncrasies, their own experiences, and their own exposures. In essence, they project judgments onto you, onto LaShonda, onto any other female or any other person based on the lens through which they look, okay? It has nothing to do with you. The truth of the matter is they're offended because either you're doing something or you're operating, or as I like to say, you're getting down in such a way that they either desire to or they don't quite understand. So instead of doing like the Bible says, and then all that seeking, gaining understanding, they don't desire to gain an understanding because they will project a negative judgment or criticism or opinion onto you. And in that case, it's not your problem, dog. It is not your problem.
I love it. I want to get a male perspective. I need to move that chair. Come on over here, young man. Come on over. Come on over. Okay. I have watched him, as they say, I done watched him grow up. I'm just playing. I watched him grow up a little bit. Now that you've gone from high school to, come on over. We need to be able to see you. Come on. You've gone from high school to being a young man. How have you been able to rise above some of those judgments and become the man that you are? Go.
Main thing is, one, I have to realize I am a young Black man in America. And America right now still has a target on my back. So I have to realize, okay, what am I doing? What is she doing? What are they watching? You see many unarmed black men gunned down, and they always want to make excuses. Oh, he was reaching. What was he reaching for? You see, show me your license and registration. He goes into his wallet. He was reaching for something. I wonder what that was. So it's almost, in the military, we have a saying, keep your head on swivel.
Okay, which means?
Pay attention on what goes on around you.
That's good. Okay.
So I end up getting into a habit anytime I go to a restaurant. I have to be able to see where that door is, and where's the front door.
Mm-hmm.
So I have my back always face to the wall. It's just about knowing what's around you.
Mm-hmm.
That's the best way I could describe it.
I like it. You got to be careful what's around you. So what are you surrounding yourself with? And when you end up in these situations, do you have a way of escape? You got to make sure you are careful where you are, who you're hanging around. They say birds of a feather flock together. Ducks and there's something about some ducks. I can't remember. I got ready to tell you and I forgot. Anyway, and you can't, they talked about you can't be an eagle clucking with turkeys and chickens, okay? Eagles are meant to fly. So you do have to be careful. So the whole thing is, I love the fact that he's saying you have to be careful. Know your surroundings, know what's around you, know who's around you, and be careful. He said he has a target on his back as a young black man. So he's having to be careful about what he projects and what he does. I think that's beautiful. Y'all heard it from him. Give it some love. Y'all got to be ready. You never know who we gonna have on this couch next. Thank you so much, sir. AJ, come on over. Okay, so she's the baby. And she's a young black female herself who has just graduated high school and is entering college. This is her first semester. So you tell me, how have you been able to go from those stereotypes and judgments, and how have you been able to improve and make some things change for you? Go.
First, I had to really look in the mirror and take off all the spiritual makeup I put on. All the mascara and the foundation and all that. Take all of that off and really look at myself and look at the ugly part of me. And I think that was the hardest part. Saying what I don't like about myself, what I can improve. And sometimes, you get so caught up in what everybody else wants, you kind of forget what you want. And I realized that I was spending so much time trying to please other people, I didn't even know what I wanted. So I had to stop and just look in the mirror. I'm like, okay, who is Ajane? What does she want? And I'm still trying to find that out at this point, but I feel like I'm on my way.
I tell you, sometimes you just get tissue. I'm telling you, yes. Listen, she said you got to take all that stuff off because there's so many things that you put on, but why are you putting it on? The thing is really makeup is supposed to be enhancement. It's not supposed to completely alter who you are. You can put on so many things of what some other people have for you that you don't even recognize yourself. You don't even know what you look like up underneath there. You have to be careful and know who you are and whose you are. And if you realize that you put on so much stuff that you don't even recognize, you got to go back to the drawing board. All right, I can tell it's happening again. Dr. Brian is having one of them moments. Come on in, Doc.
Look, I'm out in these streets driving, but I wanted to, again, commend Ajane, and I want to let her know this too. It's been for everybody. Judgment. When we form an opinion or when we develop a thought about ourselves, let that be something that is fluid. And when I say fluid, I mean it is changeable. Just because I have a certain judgment about myself today, or just because I've developed this certain judgment about you today, does not mean that that's the end of it. It's not set in stone. It can change as you change. It can change as things around you, circumstances and situations change. It is not set in stone. So even if you do take off the makeup, the cover up to expose the true you, And she said it. She said it so eloquently. I'm still trying to figure out who I am. Baby, I'll be 50 next year, and I'm still figuring out who I am. I have yet to become the woman that he has created me to be. So you dead on track, darling. Don't feel bad at all. You are someone who is making progress as you push forward.
Progress as you push. We got to make sure we make progress as we push. These judgments are not supposed to be something that is supposed to completely make us just withdraw and just shut down. The thing is that there are a lot of women that you say that are strong. The only reason they're strong is they didn't have nothing else to do but to be strong. It's just you just got to make it do. What other choice did you have? It's like, okay, the bill's not gonna pay themselves. These things are not gonna happen by themselves. You know, it's like, oh my gosh, I wish I could be that strong. Let me ask you something. When you judge somebody who you say has it all together, are you willing to go through what they had to go through to get there?
Baby.
Because you know, the testimony is, I don't look like what I'm going through or what I've been through. That's glory to God. That's
come on through. Yes.
Let me tell you, because there are some times that you got on heels and you cute as I don't know what and broken down on the inside. And you have to say, God, thank you that people don't see the struggle is real. That all they see is that I'm put together and that things looking great. But I will speak for myself, the judgment that we have to go through. I've been married since I was 18, have 3 beautiful girls. So glad y'all got a chance to meet them. And I have a wonderful, amazing husband who's awesome. Here's the thing though, getting married at 18 was a struggle because I did not know who I was, not nary, as my dad would say, not nary bit, which means none. I had to learn, I had to begin the journey of learning who I was while being a wife, while being a mother. And that was challenging, but guess what? I didn't start to really wear any other hat besides being mom and wife until they got older. And I realized, okay, I have to, as Ashane said, what is it that I want to do? How do I want to? I had never asked myself that question. And let me tell you, when I asked myself that question, I said, self, well, what do you want to do? And you know what self said? We've never been down this road before. So I was like, Then I had to go down the road of self-discovery. Now, here was where the judgment came for me. Other people were like, you always have it so together. What do you mean you don't know? And I had to be okay with the fact that, guess what? I didn't know. And I had to be okay with that first. So as they were so eloquently, I love that word, so eloquently said, when someone else puts that on you and says something, you get real defensive, but it really is because it's really touching you. It's real, it becomes a more sensitive subject when there's some truth in there. When they say it's laced in some truth, it get real touchy and real, got to be real careful. Okay, so I have another question. Dropped my paper, I had to bend down real quick to get it. Okay, so when you look in the mirror, what view are you looking from? That is a rhetorical question that I want you to ask yourself. When you look in the mirror, what view are you looking from? Sometimes we look through negativity, and other times we have to take on the truth of it. One of the things about a judge is they're supposed to take fact, and they take the facts of what it is, and they look at it and they make a judgment. That's what a judge does. An actual judge looks at the facts of the situation and makes a judgment call based on facts. That's not the way life works, though. You have to have a balance of facts and feeling. You have to be able to feel, and you got to be able to look at the reality of things. Take some things that are factual, and then really be able to look. You've been able to see that these are the things. What did she say? The scope of what you are, the scope of and the perspective of what you've been through in your life. So you don't have to look like what your past says. There's the people that'll tell you, oh my God, how many times they came from nothing. They came from that, but what is that? Did they really come from nothing, or was there already greatness already inside of them? Greatness was already there. They just had to be put in a situation where it could grow. Because the thing is before something grows, a little rain must fall. Come on, y'all. Woo, a little rain must fall. A little sunshine, a little rain. All of those things, everything is not always going to be, as they say, gravy. Everything is not always going to be great. Make sure you are not the one who is tearing yourself down and you're not the one who's in your way of becoming everything that you're supposed to be. If you have a dream, yes, you may not have a clue, but the first thing is write it down. Write down what it is that you want to do. And then surround yourself with people. Start asking questions. Let me tell you something that happened. A great example is Miss Lakeisha Renee. So she has something that she's working on right now. She says she's asked, she has a dream. I'm not going to tell her business. I'm going to tell her business without telling her business. Okay, so she has a dream of something she wants to do and she wants to accomplish. Yet she's got some people who are like, I don't know if you should really do that or not. So she was like, okay, next. So she went, because that's her dream. She didn't ask you if this was a good dream or not. That's not what she asked you. What she said was, I perceive you to be somebody who's doing something that I would like to do, that I would like to achieve. Come on over here. I don't know why you're playing. Come on over and get in this chair, because I can't continue to talk about you and you not jump in. So we're gonna put the camera on both of us so they can see the faces you make. So here's the thing. She didn't ask what is your dream? She said, I want to know, I perceive you to be someone who's achieved something that I would like to achieve. But then she started to find out these people that she had been looking at, that so-called she thought was achieving this, could be a little imposter-ish. Go ahead.
Yes. So I've been asking several people, let's just say more than 40 people, right? And it got to the point where even though 43 were not able to do what I needed them to do, that didn't stop me from still trying to go and get the dream that I have. Regardless of what you may say or what you may think or whatever, is not going to kill what's on the inside of me that's coming out, that's blossoming, that's still going after it. Regardless of anything, I could still say thank you, yes ma'am, and smile and go on and proceed on. But what I will not do is let what you think I should do stop me from what I'm going to do.
Yes, I'm telling y'all, if y'all know from, as they old folks say, from whence she came, you just don't understand what a testimony that right there was a testimony in itself. Here's the thing though, we are here to encourage and empower you. Raise expectation and create hope is what we want to do for you. So we get ready to wrap this thing up. So we're going to do what they call round robin. We're going to ask for final words and they listen. Let's not get churchy. You know, the old, they say, do you have anything to say? And they sit there the whole time. And as soon as they call their name, they go, no, I don't really have nothing to say. The moment they get the mic, they talk for 10 minutes. That's not what this is. This round robin, you get 1 minute wrap up. You ready? And go, Lady T.
On my wrap up?
That's your wrap up. What do you have anything to say?
This is my wrap up.
You ready? Your minute is started now. Go.
Okay. Well, thank you. Just want to piggyback on everything everyone said. Knowing the difference between I can't even talk. Constructive criticism and judgment, and making sure that you're raising expectation and creating hope. Making sure you face it to fix it. Making sure that you understand what a stereotype is and correcting it. Once again, I'm going to do it again and say it again. I'm going to keep saying it. We are here to raise expectation and create hope. Raise expectation and create hope. I will leave you with this. What is your judgment?
Drop the mic. Drop it. Okay. Final words, young man. Come on over here. Mr. DeAndre Taylor. All right, you got final words, sir. You've been listening to this whole thing and talking about judgment. You got some final words you want to leave with the people. Go ahead, sir, and go.
One thing, something that my father always tells me when he sees this, he's probably going to get mad at me. I don't care. Who are you becoming?
Who are you becoming?
Who are you becoming? When you look in the mirror, what do you see? What do you want to see?
He said, who are you becoming? What do you see? And what do you want? Come on with it, sir. All right. Come on over here. Come on over here, Zen. Give us some parting words. Thank you so much, sir. Sure do appreciate. I'm telling you, these folks is young. Look, don't let the youth fool you, because they. Huh?
Oh, okay. Some lasting words, final words.
From Zania Lewis. Go ahead.
Right. I would say there's always gonna be people that judge you, but make sure to not like judge yourself. Like, I mean, sometimes you will judge yourself, but don't like over judge yourself, if that makes sense. Because sometimes you have to build your own self up. So, yeah.
That's Bible. It says you got to encourage yourself. Go ahead and speak the word. Yes, stop. Come on over here, Des, our singer. I want you to know she's the one who came up with our amazing, our song, Reach, which we're going to play on the way out.
Okay. Well, one other thing I can say is, you know, someone is judging you. Sometimes you got to think about, well, why is that person judging you? Sometimes somebody can judge you over the fact because they admire you or the fact that they're jealous. And sometimes it's not.
Go ahead.
I'm sorry. Sometimes it's, you know, sometimes some people don't even recognize that they are judging you. But to just, you know, just stay in your own skin. You know, don't take a lot of the stuff that people say to heart, because I mean, if it's true, it's true, and if it's not, well, it's.
You see what I'm saying? If it's true, it's true, and if it's not, it's not. Don't take it to heart if it don't belong to you. Come on here, see? You work that out real nice. Real nice. All right. Come on here, AJ. Come on, make it happen. Your recap. Let's go, AJ.
It's important on what you take in, because we ourselves are like sponges. You have to be aware of what you soak up. If you soak up other people's judgments and things of negative nature, or if you are continuing to encourage yourself and taking positive things. The question is, when life squeezes you, what's coming out?
She said, when life squeezes you, what's coming out? What's coming out, boo? Ponder on that. Sorry, I know. Ponder on that. Miss Keisha, you got anything else you want to say, like parting words? Come on here, Miss Lakeisha Renee. Come on, ma'am. And go.
My parting words is, whenever you're in a situation, a conversation, or even when you do feel someone is judging you, when you're talking to someone, make sure you glean the goodness or glean what you might need for yourself in order to be a better person, in order to continue forward. But when you're gleaning or when you're taking certain things, you don't have to take everything. So only take what you need.
Only take what you need, because some of that judgment, there's some truth in it, but only take what you need and say, nah, I'm good with the rest of it. I'm good. I don't need that. For those of you who were at on Thursday, you'll understand what I'm saying. Nah, I'm good. So we want to leave you with some parting words. Who's the judge? All of us at one point are a judge. But we have to be careful how we judge and how we receive the judgment. As she said, take what it is that's for you and let the rest of it go. All right, so everybody is saying bye. Lady T, wave at everybody, tell everybody bye. All right, okay. All right, so we're going to be out. Lady Bryant, all the way from Sharktown. She's on her way out. We are so glad that you guys decided to grace our presence, and we hope that you learned something today. We want to thank Mr. DeAndre Taylor for coming, and Miss Lakeisha, Zania, Desiree, Ajane. Oh, had to go make that money, so he is gone. So excited that he does that. Amen. Amen. So we want to thank for all of our special guests for coming. So we finna be out of here. Cue the music.
Raise expectation and create hope. We love each other, that's the way it goes. Raise expectation and create hope. We love each other, that's the way it goes. Gotta reach up to the sky, gotta reach up to the sky.
Bye, guys. Have a wonderful Saturday. Raise expectations and create hope. We love you.